All right, Mike Baker's back with us here on the Steve Malzberg Show, former CIA and president of Diligence. Okay, everything you just said about Guantanamo. False?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hey, then close it. If you're the president, he's just so, it's so unimpressive, what's coming out of the White House nowadays. But he wants us all now to think, because there's a hunger strike, that
at Gitmo,
that all along in his heart of hearts, oh my God, if Congress would just have let me close this place, I would have done it. And now you know what? You want to close Gitmo? Let that hunger strike go on, and then eventually we can close Gitmo.
Right, they'll all die.
Yeah,
but he specifically said, I don't want them to die. If they want to starve themselves, who cares? Do I care? Do you care?
No.
All right, let's talk about Syria quickly, because we only have a few minutes left. Today, after the progression of events, game changer, red line. If there's chemical weapons used or moved, red line, game changer. Then Hagel tells us a week ago, we have evidence, chemical weapons used. We think it was the Syrian government. Blah blah blah. Today, Obama says, well, we can't do anything because we don't know if it was used.
Yeah.
If it was used, we don't know who used it. Well, what is going on here?
Yeah, I know. Let me tell you, I think anybody with kids out there will understand that if, as a parent, as an example, I've got 3 little boys, and the middle one's Sluggo. He's 3.5. If I if I tell Sluggo there's a red line here and don't cross it because this is going to happen, and then he's going to cross it, and then if I don't back up my threat, I'm done. Right? I'm completely. Every parent knows that, but apparently President Obama doesn't quite understand. He's backed himself into a corner that is actually really, really very dangerous now.
With Iran too, right?
Oh,
it shows the world he won't act.
The Iranian regime, certainly Assad, the Russians, the Chinese, they've all got the measure of this president, unfortunately, and the inconsistent, sort of feckless foreign policy that's been driving this White House for the first term and certainly going into the second term. But Syria is a major goat rope. Remember how quick we were to run into Libya?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We had no national security interest in Libya.
None.
And yet we went in there because of the fear that perhaps Gaddafi's going to, hurt some of his civilians, his population. But anyway, so I don't know where this is going to go. There's not a really good answer here anymore. It's interesting that Assad, who's very smart, is now quietly in the margins, kind of positioning himself and putting the word out that, look, I think I'm your best choice here. You want that?
Right.
This is what you want. You want a rebel opposition overrun with extremists to take over this country?
Obama might want it.
Maybe, yeah, he does. But those chemical weapon stores,
I know.
that's
the
a problem. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
All right. And in Benghazi, I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it, as you alluded to jokingly before. There's an investigation. We've got 1 minute left.
Right.
But now we have CIA and State Department people getting lawyers saying, we want to come forward. We want to tell what happened before, during, and after, but we're being threatened.
Right. You know what? Ever since this thing started, we've been banging the drum on Benghazi, trying to keep up interest on this, because at the end of the day, it's shameful, it's disgusting, the fact that we didn't try. Not that we could have saved those lives, but we didn't even try. And the only person who could have done that would have been the president. And my feeling is, the one thing I would like to have seen from an investigative journalist is to get the logbook of who signed into the war room that night of the attack. And I guarantee you will see probably as many political operatives in there as strategic operators.
I'm sure. Mike, I hope you'll come back. Great talking to you.
I
Mike
appreciate
Baker,
it very much.
former CIA and president of Diligence.